So we are here with Laura from Iza Legal Services, and we're going to talk about the visas. So hi Laura, thanks for being here and talking about the visa. We will talk about the different types of visas you can get as an expat here in Colombia. So do you want to start, she's especially specialized for international transfers and the visas according to that. So she will mostly talk about that, and I will talk about the rest of the visas. So if you want to start, how can people get a real estate investment visa here in Colombia?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. For the real estate specifically, there are two types. There's the migrant visa and the residency visa. The migrant visa, the minimum required to invest is 319 million pesos this year, because every single year with the minimum salary increases. So that's for the migrant visa. The migrant visa is up to 1 to 3 years. So that's like the main basic information for the migrant as a real estate investor. For the residency visa, investing in real estate, the minimum amount registered in central bank, it has to be up to 590 million pesos this year again, considering that every single year it increases. Mm.
So what's the difference between the migrant, so the M type, and the resident R type visa?
Well, the migrant visa, it's not permanent, so it's up to 1 to 3 years. Sometimes it can get a little confusing for the real estate investors because they are looking forward for the 3-year frame of the terms of the visa, but it is not. It's up to 1 to 3 years. So that's extremely important that the foreigner keeps in mind. Yeah. And the residency visa, well, it's for the stamp is for 5 years, but it's permanent. Yeah. So you don't need to renew it every single time.
Well, what does it mean? Like, what do you have to do after 5 years with the stamp?
It just simply requires a new stamp, and that's it.
So they not going to check anything anymore, or is
No, they simply with the visa you already have the permanent visa. You just need to request the cedula again. They will make you take photos again to request the new cedula with the new 5-year term.
Okay. Another thing, correct me if I'm wrong, with the R-type residency visa, you can work with whatever visa you have, right?
You can work?
Work, yeah.
Yes.
And with the M-type visa, it depends on which visa you have. You might, with most visas, you're not allowed to work. So that's another big advantage of the R-type visa. But most people, again, correct me if I'm wrong, get the M-type visa, especially in the beginning, right?
Yeah, because for the requirements, the minimum requirements for the residency, I mean, you somehow only are able to apply for the migrant visa. Yeah. But once you achieve for the minimum requirements for the residency, then you can apply for the residency. Okay.
And it's true, right? If you have, depends, marriage visa a little bit faster, but with any other type of visa, you can get the residency visa after 5 years of holding continuously an M-type visa. Is that also correct?
Well, that depends on a lot of factors, because when you apply for the residency visa for permanency in Colombia, migration basically counts every single day for the 5 years permanently. Okay. So you can say like, oh, I've been with this type of visa for more than 5 years, then we can proceed with the residency application. No, that's not very accurate. It's more of the permanency here in the country. Okay. So they basically need to submit a certificate of saying how many days you've stayed in Colombia, and if you somehow comply that you haven't left the country for 5 years, then you may apply for the residency visa.
Okay. Okay, so another type of visa is the pensioner's visa, for example. So with that pensioner visa, or better put, with that retirement visa, because it doesn't matter if you have the pension, it can also be a military retirement. Yeah, you have to prove that it's a little bit more than $800 at the moment per month you can bring in. And there's another type of visa which is very, very similar and gets confused a lot, which is the rentista visa. Which is $2,500 income, and it doesn't matter if it's a pension, retirement, or whatnot, but it has to be from investment, so salary doesn't count. Then another visa, N-type visa, is the business investors visa, right? How does that work?
The business. Yeah, the business, well, first of all, my primary recommendation is that it has to be a real business. It has to be like your main objective is to create a real business. I do not suggest you to get the visa, the business visa, just because you want to stay in Colombia, because that can drop out really quickly. Currently, Colombia, the whole regulations from last year, they started being extremely strict with the whole regulation of business visa, because they are requiring more and more documentation for you to prove that you're in fact talking with like creating,
business,
like a real business in Colombia, and not just because of the concept of the visa.
Yeah. So a lot of people in the past, they just opened a business and said, yeah, now I'm a business owner, and apply for a visa, and it worked out fine. But yeah, as Laura said, in the last couple of years, they really cracked down on that.
And also another thing is that not solely because of the whole visa process, there's a lot of tax implications for when you create a business here, and just on paper, that's highly regulated right now. So that would be a no. If your plan is just for the visa, then don't go that way.
So how much money do you have to invest in the business to be available for the visa?
The capital paid and subscribed in the business documentation has to be 100 minimum salaries. This year, that's 90 million pesos.
Yeah.
So that has to be registered on the Chamber of Commerce. That's why I'm talking about tax implications, because obviously with a SAS, you can say like, oh, I'm going to start with this capital amount, but it has its exemptions when you are using that type of documentation for a visa.
Okay, so maybe in a nutshell, if you want to really build a business here, that's a good option to have a business investor's visa that also enables you to work in Colombia for that business. But other than that, it's probably not a good idea to try to make something happen just to get the visa.
Yeah.
Then talking about work, there's also a work visa. Usually, yeah, if you apply for that, you don't have to watch this video. Most probably the company does that. A lot of people ask us if they can get a company going because they may be not having $30,000 or $25,000. So the idea is to get a company going and then employ themselves in a company, but that doesn't work because there are minimum investment requirements also for the company that employs you. So again, kind of a trick is not really possible there. Then the last visa we're going to talk about today, there's some others, but these are the most prevalent one for expats, is of course the marriage visa. That has some advantages. You can work with a marriage visa here. You are able to get R-type residency visa sooner with that kind of visa. But yeah, of course, you have to get married. And I know not personally, but personally from stories of friends, that it's not easy to get the marriage visa if it's kind of just, if it looks like you just want to get...
If it's taken,
the
whole situation to get the visa.
So I heard statistics like 1 out of 3 of those people that apply for a marriage visa actually have to go to Bogota and get an interview done, and they will ask you some funny questions and all of that. Do you want to add something to the visas in general?
Well, another very common, it's when they want to invest in shares in a company. My suggestion with this type of visa is to first know very, very closely the company you are willing to invest, because you can get a lot of trouble once you want to request the whole documentation for the visa application. So that's extremely important.
So be very careful if you find some kind of Facebook group, some people saying they have kind of a vehicle for getting a visa. Just make sure you do your due diligence.
If you have any other questions, just you can submit the question in the information below.
Exactly. We will have the information to contact her in the description down below. And yes, thanks for watching the video, and see you in the next one.
Bye.
So we are here with Laura from Iza Legal Services, and we're going to talk about the visas.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh yeah, that was the intro.
Oh, that was the
That
intro.
was the intro, I said,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.